Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK, a motorsports podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Whether we are out riding with our friends and family or racing in extreme environments, we all need good tires. That's why I recommend GBC Power Sports Tires, a division of Greenball Corp. Their products, which include XC Master, Mini Master, and Groundbuster 3, are what leading professionals in the ATV-UTV industry are using. You can get your tires at greenballtires.com or find them on Instagram as GBC Tires for further inquiries. Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, Score, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs. Welcome to DBR Racing Products, the leader in 3D modeling and innovations. Since 2015, they have been revolutionizing the industry, starting with their groundbreaking YFZ 450R battery boxes. But they didn't stop there. They have continued to push the boundaries, constantly improving their design with each new version. In 2018, they introduced the game-changing Vortex EXO cage, specifically designed to securely hold the Vortex ECU in a safe and sturdy location. This breakthrough innovation ensures your ECU stays protected even in the toughest racing conditions. At DBR, they understand that every detail matters. That's why they also offer an array of essential products to enhance your racing experience. Their spark plug hold downs keep your engine firing at peak performance, while their LTR breather boxes ensure optimal ventilation for your machine. Their LT250 engine skid plates are a must-have for those seeking unmatched protection. Engineered to shield your engine from impacts and rough terrain, they provide the ultimate defense for your ATV. But that's not all. They've developed ProPeg mounts that allow you to use TRX 450R Nerf bars, giving you greater control and maneuverability on the track. To explore their full range of innovative products and learn more about DBR Racing, visit their website at www.dbratv.com. You can also reach them directly at 507-828-1233. Their knowledgeable team is ready to assist you with any questions or inquiries. DBR Racing Products, where innovation meets performance. Unleash the power within you. Kevin Saar, welcome to ATV-TALK, sir.
Hi, Leonard. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, brother. My pleasure. I was a little worried in our early conversations that we weren't going to get this in.
Yeah, I had some rush. I flew back to Europe and back to the States, but no, I'm down to talk ATVs.
So when you flew back to Europe, it was pretty successful.
Yeah, I flew back actually because of my school. I had some exams to do, and at the same time we had European race. So European Championship round and in my home country too. So it was a good timing.
So can we go back in time just a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
How did you get into ATVs?
My dad used to race dirt bikes, two-wheelers, and I don't know, I just went to the races with him. He had pretty bad crash and he had to stop. But somehow I don't know, we just went to a local dirt bike store, saw the ATV there and wanted to try. That's how it started.
So your dad started racing ATVs, or you did when you were little?
I did. I tried two-wheeler too, but I tried first time in winter time on ice and I crashed and I didn't want to try again. But I don't know how ATVs came. We just walked into the store and I saw one and I wanted to try that. This was more successful.
That's pretty good. And when did you start racing, or how did you get into the racing portion?
I think first time racing was 2007 when I was 7 years old. First time was then, but we went racing a lot. Like first years, we were just having fun, but wasn't planning to race like or do anything like that. It was more like just having fun time with my dad. I was playing football, and football was more important at that time.
So just so everybody understands, you played soccer in the States. Yes. It's soccer in football there, and so everybody understands. Where did you grow up?
In Europe, in a small country named Estonia. We only have population is 1.3 million, so it's really small compared to the States or even big European countries. It's a really small country, and I grew up there.
What's the closest landmark so that we could understand a little better what the terrain is like?
Our neighbors are Finland, Norway, close to there.
So you get some harsh winters in cold country time.
Oh, really bad winter. That's the hard part too. We can't ride in the winter time, so we can in the snow, but it's not like nothing like it's in Florida or somewhere where you can train hard.
So you're on vacation here.
I'm racing. I'm living my dream right now.
Well, I mean, but the weather's, even when it's muddy, it's still probably better than a snow day at home, right?
It's really weird. I'm wearing my jacket in my bag all the time, but I have never used it here. So that's weird.
That's crazy. That's crazy. We don't even have the understanding of how cold it is. Well, there's a couple places in the States that do, but for the most part, we don't even have the understanding of how cold it gets.
Oh, it's pretty bad. It's hard to be outside when it's really cold in the winter time. You get cold burnt, or what's the word? I don't know.
Frostbite.
Yes, the wind and everything. Your skin starts to burn.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't have any idea that. I thought you were closer down, farther down in the country versus being up in the northern portion where it was colder.
Yeah, it's up there. You can drive down south, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers, and it's fine there.
2,000 or 3,000 kilometers, and it's fine. So you have how far west have you gotten in the United States?
Not far. Texas is the furthest we have gone so far.
And I know this isn't your first time to the States this year, is it?
I flew back home a couple of times this year, but I'm trying to stay here as much as possible because this traveling part is tiring.
It's very expensive and not fun, right?
No, not at all.
What portion of the United States are you based in?
In West Virginia with my
How-
team there at the Music's racing team.
Good people, correct?
Yeah, very friendly.
Did they take good care of you?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I didn't know them when I said yes to them, but I'm really happy I did and decided to come here.
That's awesome. I've only got to meet Brett one time, and that's when I was in Briarcliff last year. It was just briefly. So everything I've heard about him is he's a great dude.
He and his father, they are both just so friendly and they are helping with everything.
Did they help prep your machines and build your engines?
TDR is doing my race bike and my practice bike is done by me. And if I need any help, then they are helping me.
Well, that's awesome that you have people around to take care of you. So when you race in Europe, you don't race production machines all the time. A lot of times it's hybrids.
Yes, we don't have any rules, but we can run anything.
So there's no classification. Can you run bigger than 450s?
No, there's a CC rule, but that's it.
What do you think of the hybrid versus the production machine?
It's very hot conversation right now, but I don't know. I'm racing hybrid back home. I have Yamaha dirt bike engine in my YFC, and it works really good. You don't have to tune as much as you have to tune a quad engine, and that's the best part for me.
So the motor makes more power in the motorcycle form, and that makes it easier for you guys as far as maintenance and teardowns, because you're not going through as many engines as you do here, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, you can just take the engine, put it on the frame, and it's good to go. Actually, it's working really good.
And your suspension mods, are they similar here versus over there?
I have different company. Like I have Ragers. It's European mostly.
I know who they are.
Yes, and here I'm racing PPs. It was a bit hard to change, but that's what music racing is using here, and I think I'm getting used to it now.
So you have different sponsors at home than you do here, correct?
Yes.
How do your sponsors at home feel about what's happening in the States?
I try to do everything possible to tell everything why I'm doing it, why I'm coming here, and back here at Europe I'm racing with their products still, so they are fine with it, I think, because back home when I'm using those suspensions, they don't have a market here. I said to them, I can take those suspension, but no one is going to service them here, and that would be real hard.
Yeah, it costs super costly to ship them back home, to get them serviced. You know, it's just an expense that you just shouldn't have to come up with.
Yeah, and if anything happens on the race day, I have nothing.
Right. So when you this year, when the season's over, are you gonna go to the Quad Cross of Nations and ride there?
Yes, hopefully my country is going. I'm pretty sure they are.
You have no confirmation yet?
Not yet. I think they are working to find sponsors, and hopefully they will get some support.
That's excellent. Not to talk too much about racing at home, because we'll get to the US here shortly. When you went back home and you raced, that was the European Championship that you raced in, correct?
Yes.
And you had a pretty good showing.
Yeah, I had some issues. I was way too aggressive and made a mistake first lap. Actually, I had our issues already on first day. There's a 2-day format. First day we have practices and qualifying race. And I had some engine issues first day, so I had really outside gate pick for final races. So I had some work to do, but overall I won both races and it went well.
And will you get to race any more European races this year?
Not the European Championship. I think when I fly back after Loretta's, I will get to do the Estonian Championship race and Rendezvous also.
How many times have you raced Rendezvous?
3 times.
Pardon?
Last 3 years.
You like that race?
Oh, it's so much fun. We finished second 2 years ago.
It's an awesome race. I mean, I've got to work as a mechanic for it and race it, and I think anybody that wants to race iconic races, Rendezvous and Vegas to Reno are the 2 best races you could ever race.
I'm really glad I can go. I'm flying back home and I have to go almost straight there, but I'm still going.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So you have people prepping the machine over there for you?
Yes, we have a nice team. I just have to go and ride.
Oh, that's gotta love that, huh? You just get to throw your leg over and have a good time.
Oh yeah.
And when you're riding over here, do you get to go ride with Joel and some of the other guys that you race with?
Not really, mostly alone, because we don't have a lot of tracks where I'm based off in West Virginia. Closest one is Briarcliff. That's 3.5 hours. And I think where everyone else is living, it's pretty far.
So did you get to go down to Florida and ride much before the season started?
I went there only once for a week, where I met Brett.
Okay.
Murray. That was, if I want to do it next year again, I'm staying for a winter and go down there.
And go practice down at the Decker training facility?
That's much needed. You have to get some riding in before the season starts.
And you were pretty much limited on how much riding you could do before the season started?
Yes, it was really hard back home. It was so cold. I got to do Le 2K race, beach race in France in February. So I just did that, and almost that was it.
So I've talked to and known a number of European riders. And one of the things that amazes me about all of you is the fact that you can go from just training in the gym or doing whatever training you do that's not on the machine and jump on and ride and not have some of the same issues that I do. Even training, and myself and other riders, we get arm pump. I see the guys I know from Europe, from all different walks of life, seem to jump on and ride and never have an issue.
I think we are just used to it because of the winter time. We have just no other choice. We have to.
What do you think it is, the difference between, is it something in our diet, or is it just, well, because it doesn't make sense to me that, I mean, I don't see people that race in Europe, when they don't train, have the same fatigue issues in their arms that a lot of Americans do.
I think it depends. I have the same issues sometimes with arm pump. Actually, this year it's kind of bad with arm pump. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I was talking to another professional in a different industry, and he was trying to convince me, which there's a lot to it, that most arm pump is emotional or caused from your mind, and you're not functioning properly in the beginning of your ride, you grasp for breath, you hold on too tight because you're excited, and you forget to breathe normally, and you forget to relax and just ride the machine.
Yes, I think there's some truth in it.
Yeah, well, it was a motorcycle guy that told me that, and he was a little more developed in the professional side of it, and had diagnosed it for multiple other professional riders. So I kind of try to think that way when I get the chance to ride, relax, breathe, so that I don't have issues.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do as well.
Okay, you got the opportunity to come to the States and race, and your first impression of lining up in the pro class at Daytona, what was going through your head?
Oh, it's hard to describe. This feeling is just unbelievable. And at Daytona also, where track is pretty rough, and everything can happen there. It was a really special moment for me, and it started pretty bad with first qualifier. I crashed pretty hard, but Daytona turned out to be pretty good for me. And just to be here in the States racing, it's something I had dreamed of since I started riding, and now to be here is crazy.
How did you find out about racing in the States?
I think I just found some old videos and started to look those. And when I got a bit older, I think 2010, 11, then I started to watch more.
So on social media?
Yes.
No magazines, just social media?
No, it's just social media. We didn't have any magazines or anything.
Wow, that's the difference between the era that I come from. We found everything out through the magazine.
I'm so young. I already had social media, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, you're very fortunate that was something that was available to you. It would have been much harder to find out about ATV racing if you would have had to find it through the book, through the magazines.
Yes. Also, I just reminded that Joe Burke came to Estonia for his riding school. I think it was 2012, and I got to go there. And I think from that moment on, I wanted to come here.
Joe Bird's a pretty cool dude.
Yes.
That's awesome. Any of the other guys besides Brett Music that you get to talk with as far as the pro guys go?
I think I have met pretty much all of the riders. They are all super nice and so friendly. I couldn't have imagined that they are so friendly as they are.
They really, from everyone that I've talked to, they love having you here.
It's great to know, great to hear.
Well, yeah, it not only benefits the ATV industry, but back home, when you go back home and you talk about ATVs and you bring a different perspective of the United States and what we offer as far as the things that you can do and develop for your racing in the European championship, it's only going to help the sport. It's only going to help us grow.
Yes, for sure. I hope more Europeans are coming in years coming.
I hope so too. I hope so too. It was unfortunate that Cesar got hurt. Cesar Jimenez got hurt, and he had to miss. I think he's missed every race since. Hopefully he recovers and gets his program set for 2024. I'm going to get into what happened over the weekend. I know that was super exciting for you, and a lot of people want to hear about it, but I am still trying to build up to it because your development through the year, and as you go through learning the tracks in America, the big contrast between racing in Europe and racing here. What are some of the things that are stumbling blocks or that have been difficult for you to transition to?
Racing and riders here are so much more aggressive. That's the main thing that I'm trying to get used to it, and I still haven't get used to it. I think back home it's more, they are more there to have fun. They are not trying to get into each other. But here it's more business, more work. At least in pro class, they are not there to just have fun. They are racing to earn a living.
And when you race the European Championship, is it the same way?
Yes, it's you don't have to be afraid if someone is coming from behind or hitting you from the side. That's the main difference.
Because the American riders are aggressive.
Yes, and I think that's because of the race length. Races are much longer back in Europe. Also for youngsters here you have youngsters racing for 3 or 4 laps, and they just have to go full throttle and give everything. Back home, youngsters race also 15 minutes, and they don't have to be so aggressive. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but that's how it is.
Have you thought of racing any other forms other than just motocross?
I have done a couple cross countries at the home championship too.
At home or here?
At home only, yeah.
Have you thought about trying one over here?
I don't know. I try to focus on MX right now.
If you get a deal next year and you can make it happen, you got to fit one in. It's a different world, and if you could ever work it out to come out west and do an off-road race, a works race, that would be something that would add to your bag of tricks, because that's a totally different world in itself.
Yes. Also in the States, you have so many quad riders. You have, I think, close to 300 or 400 riders per weekend, and only quads. We have to race with sidecars, dirt bikes, and track develops much more different. We have those ruts we have in Europe. Those are just different, and it's something you have to get used to it here. Not having sidecar ruts.
I think we're thankful for that, and I think the motorcycles are thankful for that too, because they complain that we take all their good lines out, and because we flatten the turns out, and they don't have the ability to turn in the ruts like they do when we're not there.
Yes, that's how they think about us in Europe too. They don't actually like us, and that's why we don't get much more youngsters coming up. They don't want to get blamed or anything.
That's horrible.
Because we are struggling to get even. I think at Estonian Championship we have maybe 30 quads. That's it.
Well, maybe with you racing in the States and bringing home some hardware, because you've gotten on the podium, that will change some of the youth riders' minds about promoting the sport and trying to get it to grow.
Yes, and that's up to me too, to try to represent as much and as good as possible also when I go back home.
How well known are you back home?
I don't know, it's hard to say. I think not really. Maybe from the industry people, they know me only, but in general, or whole country, not really.
They don't do much news and or promotion of racers or ATV sportsmen like yourself. You're not getting in the news. They're not doing anything to promote it.
Not really. National TV just prepares soccer, basketball, like traditional sports.
Basketball's big over there.
Yes, I think team sports in general, they like to promote those. And also in Europe, they are kind of going green, so they don't like motorsports because we have too much smoke and just roost.
So they're those people, huh?
Yes, too many of them.
Not my favorite people.
In some countries, we are not allowed to use gyros already. And
That's crazy.
exhaust limit is also going so down. I think it's hard to race.
So the thing that causes planetary growth, they're trying to eliminate.
Yes.
Smart people. Gotta love it, right?
Yes.
Oh man. We don't want to get into that discussion because it's something that I have a little side hobby project where I do research on carbon basically. And yeah, I have ammunition for that if I ever get into those conversations about it, but we'll leave that for another day.
Yes.
So far, out of all the tracks that you've gotten to ride, which one's your favorite?
I think Ironman was the best.
You like that place, huh?
Yes, it was super fun. Even though I had some pretty bad landings and my wrist hurt a lot, but in the end, it was super fun.
Do you know who that facility is named after?
No.
Bob Sloan. He was a cross-country rider, and his nickname was the Iron Man, and he was phenomenal. He was a great guy, phenomenal racer. My brother and him were really good friends, and I got to spend some time with him back east. But as far as one of the competitors and the people that you've gotten to meet over here, he was one of those kind of people. He was just a great human being.
Nice. It's been so nice to go to every track. Every track is new to me, and those facilities here are so just amazing.
I know that the guys at Music run PEP. Have you got to spend much time with Wayne?
No, I haven't seen him yet.
I'm sure you will. He'll give you some good insight and he'll give you good feedback on the shocks. So if you need some help, he's helped many riders, and I'm sure that he will let his talents help you and further you along, because it only helps him. The faster you go, the better it is for him.
He's doing our maintenance, and I have talked with him on the phone, but haven't met him yet.
You'll enjoy Wayne. He's a character, kind of grumpy sometimes, but all of us old guys get grumpy. So
I have met so many good people already this year.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you say that, because my world is the ATVs, and when I travel back to the motocross, or the people that I meet from the woods, or when I go overseas, the people have all been awesome. And I just I'm glad that you say that about the States, because not everybody has that opinion of the Americans.
No, I think Americans are so friendly compared to Europeans. Really friendly here.
I'm glad to hear that, brother, because not everybody says that. Are your goals to race here next year?
I really hope so. It all comes down to the money, of course. It takes a lot to come here, stay here, and race here. But I will fly back after last round and have some meetings with my sponsors back home, and hopefully they will agree for next year too.
That would be great. We'd love to have you. So when you rolled into Pleasure Valley, I don't know if you watch the weather report much when you go to the races.
Yes.
But when you rolled into Pleasure Valley, did you expect the storm that you got?
No, not at all. It was pretty bad for Sunday, but Saturdays should have been pretty good.
Well, part of Saturday was really good.
Yes, in the evening it showed more, but during the day it shouldn't be as bad as it was.
Well, it helped you actually because you fared better than most.
Yeah, it did. I was lucky with it.
How bad does it get like that when you race in Europe at all?
No, not so much standing water. We get much more mud and everything, but not as much of standing water.
So heavy mud, more or less, less wet water.
Yes, before you would get stuck, then get those water bottles.
So the experience you have riding in the mud necessarily didn't help you as much as if it would have just been sticky and gooey. You might have been able to deal with that even better.
Yes, correct. I was struggling to turn my twist throttle here because my clothes and everything they were not so much muddy, but they were really slippery and wet. And I had twist throttle and it was hard to twist it.
Did you have any problems with your vision?
First race I had to throw away my goggles, but second race I could keep my goggles on.
Did that hurt you position wise in the first moto?
No, I already threw them away before the storm hit, so I would have had to throw it anyways after.
Oh, before the water got there, you already had a problem.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And you didn't have any backups in the pits?
I wasn't thinking about it. Once the storm hit, I didn't care about those anymore.
That I understand that. So in the first moto, it was pretty much just survival of the fittest, right?
Yes. Once it started to storm, I immediately took it easier. I knew it. I watched the Ironman last year, and I knew I just have to finish, even if I go slow. I went really slow, and I try not to go to the bottles too fast because I knew I have to keep the machine running.
When I was told that there was that they only thought there were two machines rolling at the end of the moto.
I think there were more. I think a couple guys had some issues, but they got the machine fired up again. I know Brightport took his air filter off and raced without it.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, isn't it?
It is.
There's a motor. There's a motor instantly.
Yes.
Well, it paid off because he won.
Yeah.
So did you have any idea that you had put yourself on the podium?
No.
Came across the finish line?
No. I was on my way back to the truck. And then Brett was coming with his pit quad, was waving at me that I should come back. And then I knew what's going on.
So what was going through your mind as you were turning around to go back to the podium?
I think I was having goosebumps. I was shaking. It's just so crazy. I was so happy already because I thought I was getting top 5, and that was something special already for me. But having to get on the podium, it's dream coming true.
You got on the podium with the 8-time national champion in Chad Wienen and Bryce Ford, who's establishing himself as a contender. That in itself had to have been something pretty special.
Yeah, when I rode on the podium, Chad was surprised to see me there and immediately came to congratulate me. That was awesome and special to me.
Did you get to meet those guys last year in the Czech Republic?
Already, yes, Bryce last year, but Chad's I have talked to him already before at the Nations. But this year, before the Sunset Reach, I went to Chad's place and I practiced there at his home.
Nice place to ride.
Yes, really technical track, and it was super nice of him to invite me. I'm thankful for him.
He's a good guy.
Oh, as I said, everyone's so friendly here. I love it.
I think that they're going to consider you more of a threat now that you've gotten on the podium, even though it was a mud race. They're going to have much more respect and count you in the equation now.
Yes, I had a lot of luck too, but in the end, you have to finish and ride smart in those conditions to finish that ball. So I'm really proud of myself and my music racing team.
That's pretty awesome stuff. I want to ask you some questions that don't necessarily have to do with your ATV, but your training. What is some of the things that you do mainly other than ride the ATV?
I'm running a lot. Running is I would say 70 or 80% of my trainings. I like to run. Or already from when I was young, I went to the running competitions and everything.
And no weights, no nothing special like that.
I do weights when off season starts. I do weights for 1 or 2 months, but then more cardio again. I like to cycle too when I'm back home, but I don't have a cycle at the moment here.
So do you only cycle in the summertime, or do you have the opportunity to cycle on a stationary machine or something like that at
Yes,
home?
yes, inside too.
They have you're able to cycle inside, or is it just a stationary system?
A stationary system. Yes.
I mean, running is a great thing, but do you find any joint issues or anything like that?
No, not so far. I have been good, luckily.
You're a good man, because not everybody can run.
Yes, I think my joints are used to it. I used to run some marathons too a couple of years ago.
I have a friend of mine that's almost 60, and he's raced over 40 marathons.
No, I have run, I think, 2.
This guy got a diagnosis from his doctor. He had a problem with the tendons in his feet, and where the toes attached, and they told him to stop running.
No, it's not
He
easy.
stopped.
It's not easy to do.
He stopped running for a couple of weeks and then went back to running.
Yes, that's like a drugs for us. When you're used to do something, then you want to do it again.
Do you use the running also for the time to prepare your mind and to clear your head?
Yes, and I listen to podcasts while I'm running, so it's really good time for myself and for cardio workout too.
So what are some of the things that you listen to? Are they motivational, music?
Mostly dirt bikes and ATVs related, nothing else. Yeah, I like to listen to podcasts for motocross and supercross.
Right.
So ATVs.
So Bubba's got a show. Do you listen to his?
Yes. Also, there's some more from states, like Pulp and Mix, that they do 5 hours every Monday. So I have a couple of days to listen to this.
Yeah, but they don't like ATVs.
I like racing in general.
I know, I do too. I just didn't know if you knew that. No, my son is more of a supercross fan than I am. I like MotoGP. You know, the road race guys; those guys are fast, and they can do some stuff on a motorcycle on the asphalt that's pretty incredible.
There's so many podcasts, so it's hard to keep up.
You know, I listen to very few motorsports podcasts.
Do you like something else?
I have different things that I like to listen to, some educational stuff, and I listen to a lot of stories that have to do with different subjects. You know, I try to keep up on my politics as well. So
Yes,
that
it
happens when you get old.
takes a lot of time to listen to those.
Yeah, you know, it does. It does. It really does.
When I really like something, then I just have to run longer.
Really. So how many miles do you normally run in like if you're going to go ride, let's say you're going to go run tonight after we get done, how many miles would you run?
We have. I'm still not used to the miles, but I will convert it to kilometers. About 6-7 miles per one time. It's like normal.
And how long does that normally take you?
I would say 50 minutes.
That's pretty good pace.
I normally try to do at least 1 hour because most of my runs are aerobic and it's like low heart rate.
When you mean low heart rate, so you're not running to push hard to get the heart rate up. You're trying to keep it at a steady pace, but an increased heart rate.
Yes, it all depends what time of the year it is. Right now, when I'm racing, racing itself is so so high with heart rate, and you have to recover from that.
Is it a higher heart rate from the excitement or just the sheer speed that you're having to run?
I think we are used to the speed now. I think it's excitement. Even when you're riding, you don't feel the heart rate going up. When you run with the same heart rate as you race, it's hard. But when you're racing, you don't even feel it.
Right. Well, your mind's on the bump, the turn, the jump. You know, the guy next to you or behind you, in front of you.
You have no time to think about it.
A lot of ATV riders have very long careers, as far as some of these guys race, especially the Europeans the era that I'm coming from raced, past 40. Do you believe that your career is going to carry yourself into your mid to late 30s?
I would like so, but it's hard. It's hard to make a living out of this sport.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I think all of the Europeans, they do it next to work or school. There's not the one rider that's make a living out of it.
Correct. There's the few that did don't anymore because whether sponsorship or things change, I'm not sure. What are you going to school for?
I learned to become a trainer. I can be a trainer now in Estonia.
A physical trainer to train athletes?
Yes, I have papers now. Not yet because I didn't go to graduation, but I should have papers at home now.
Was most of your classes and schooling done online?
It was 50-50. I was there for 3 years. It was university. So I was there for 2 years, and now this year I made some agreements so I can make most of the classes from online.
Oh, so you had to go talk to the university about, you coming to the States and racing and them letting you do the classes online.
Yes, I really wanted to finish it now because I don't know if I would ever finish it later. It would be harder.
So are you going to try to work in the off season at being a trainer to make a little more money?
I think right now when I still plan to race next year, I would go full professional mode and only focus on racing. And later, if I'm not able to do it anymore, then then I will go to work.
Well, with the sponsors that you should be able to get here and the sponsors you should be able to get from home, hopefully we can see you for a couple years in the States. And then when we do the Quad Cross of Nations, we get to compete against you there.
Yeah, I'm really grateful to have sponsor from back home, because they are not getting anything out of this that I'm racing here. They are mostly Estonian companies, not even involving in this sport, but they are still behind my back.
They're sponsoring one of their countrymen in an endeavor that actually probably does help them in a small way, because the focus on them helping you will come around in other ways to them, from whether fellow countrymen or people from other countries seeing what they're doing, not knowing what these sponsors are. I think there's a bigger impact than you think.
Yeah, it's maybe more beneficial than I think or anyone can think of. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the people that are sponsoring you are looking at the broader picture of what it means.
Yes, and when I go back home, I try to make as good promotion for them as possible. Especially now that I have more results, I have more media also from back home, so I can use that.
Make sure that you send us some of those links to those people and their graphics, their logo, so we can include it into your YouTube show that we're going to produce. Okay, and then we can we do some social media promotion of you. Make sure that we have that stuff so that we can implement it there too, so that they get something out of this as well.
Yes, that sounds good.
We always want to help. I mean, that's what we're all about, is helping the industry grow. And you know, it is an honor, because you have stature in the ATV industry internationally. Your name comes up when we talk about the European riders. Your name came up quite a bit when we were covering the Quad Cross of Nations. And then to find out that you came over here and raced, I thought it was pretty awesome that you were one of the faster Europeans, if not the fastest. And that's incredible that you got to come over. Maybe they saw you ride over there and wanted you over here.
Yeah, and that's all thanks to music racing team, because I wasn't really planning to race full season. I was trying to get to race 1 or 2 races. I was trying to figure out if they are giving me pro license or no. And then when Brett heard that I wanted to come and message me.
Did the AMA give you any static about getting a pro license?
Yes, they replied day after and said that I'm able to get it.
When you say they replied, was there a problem in the beginning with you getting a license?
I think actually in the rules you have to get some, I think, pro-am points or something from previous year to even apply to the pro license. But at least luckily they saw me at the Nations and they were able to give it to me.
Harv got involved.
I wasn't sure. Maybe they were not giving to me, so I had to email.
Well, you know, there's a lot of us that know people, and we're always willing to help. And as soon as the industry would have found out that that's what you were trying to do, I'm sure that the people that knew better reached out and said, hey, you need to let this guy, make sure this guy can race.
And I also have to be thankful to Harv Whipple. He's the guy I messaged you, and he said to Brett that there's one European wanting to come over. Maybe you have a spot.
You know, Harv, I've never got to meet him. I've only heard about him. I'm sure that he is a great dude.
It's pretty crazy how one message can change everything.
That's pretty much how it works in this industry. Is yeah, we compete against each other, but we're also competing to make the industry bigger because we have a fight on our hands constantly with growth. We need more people. We need to help each other. It's not like the motorcycle industry where it's kind of cutthroat.
Yes.
They don't have to help each other.
Yeah, there's enough money and enough riders.
Yeah, there's, you look at the pro class now. I mean, you have all those injuries and all the people that just stepped in and took the place. You know,
Yes.
doesn't even shrink the gate because 10 pros went down and got hurt. You still had 10 pros step into those spots. If we have injuries in the ATV world and we lost 10 pros in one race, there's not 10 pros that are going to jump into those spots.
No, not at all.
Scary stuff, man. Hey, I really want to thank you so much for taking the time with me and letting us promote you like this. We appreciate it, and it's our honor to have you on, and thank you so much for wanting to come to the States and race.
Yes, of course. It's my pleasure to be on here, talking to you, meet you. Hopefully, we will meet in person too.
I would like that very much.
Are you not coming to Briarcliff this year?
No, I'm not going to make it. As you well know, travel is very expensive.
Yes, and you are pretty far away.
Yeah, we made it last year. We did some press conferences and got to meet a number of people and had a great time. The owner of the track is outstanding, you know, and I just think that it's a nice facility. It's a great facility. I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
Our plan is to be more mobile and to go to more events around the nation, as well as maybe travel abroad if we can work that out as well.
Okay, that would be awesome.
You know, because I know the walkers from the UK, they came over for some training, and I got to have the Alfie and Harry come in studio. They came here. I got to talk to their dad and Richard Cole. Richard Cole rode my 250R in the LA Coliseum during the Mickey Thompson era.
I listened to that episode with Walkers.
Yeah, so there's a lot of history there. My brother has a photo, and I think we found it, with him and Harry sitting on the pit wall.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry was just a little bitty blonde-haired kid.
That's cool. He was also at that European race I raced this year.
That was Rendezvous.
Hmm.
That photo with my brother and Harry was in Rendezvous.
That's awesome.
You know, one of my good friends I met at Rendezvous in 2001, Raphael Sonic. You know, and I've traveled all over the world with that guy.
Good times.
Oh, great times, brother. Great times. Would you ever think that an ATV would get you all over the planet?
No, never. Not outside of Estonia.
Well, you're here in the States, and you have a bright future. You keep doing what you're doing. I think you're gonna do good things.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to give my best and do everything possible.
That's awesome, brother.
The team here at ATV-TALK would love your feedback. Please email us at hello@atvtalkpodcast.com.
If you're in need of a consultation for your current racing program, a custom ATV, or an industry guest speaker, I have the company for you. Duncan Technologies International Inc. offers host, MC, and guest speaking services at events, builds custom ATVs for recreational riding or racing around the world, and they offer consulting services for professional teams or individual racers. Send inquiries to duncantechinternational@gmail.com or call 619-716-1532 for more information. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to share us with your family and friends. The podcast is available on all streaming platforms, and you can find us on social media as ATV Talk Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter